Did you know that in the past year alone, over 4,000 school lockdowns have occurred across the United States? That's more than 10 lockdowns every single day, leaving students and teachers in a constant state of fear and uncertainty. Lockdowns are emergency protocols that are increasingly being implemented in educational institutions due to various threats. These lockdowns, while essential for safety, are becoming more frequent, causing significant fear and anxiety among students and parents. The uncertainty and disruption they bring highlight. Lockdowns have profoundly affected students' emotional and psychological well-being. The sudden shift to remote learning and social isolation has led to increased anxiety, stress, and feelings of uncertainty. Many students have experienced trauma from the abrupt changes in their daily routines and the lack of in-person interaction with peers and teachers. This environment has heightened feelings of loneliness and depression as students struggle to adapt to new. Welcome back to Scare Squad, where we dive into the most chilling tales that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Today, we're exploring real-life school lockdown horror stories that will send shivers down your spine. Imagine the fear, the uncertainty, and the bravery of those involved. Let's get into it. In a small Midwest high school, a regular school day turned into a nightmare when the loudspeaker announced an immediate lockdown. The teachers hastily locked doors, pulled blinds, and directed students to hide in the corners of classrooms. Whispers of confusion spread like wildfire as students clutched their phones, trying to text loved ones. Then, a teacher heard faint footsteps in the hallway outside her classroom. Moments later, the doorknob rattled aggressively. She motioned for everyone to stay silent. The person on the other side pushed and banged on the door, causing muffled sobs from students who were terrified it would break open. The footsteps moved on, and it wasn't until the police cleared the building that the reason for the lockdown was revealed. An unidentified man had been spotted wandering through the school, but he had vanished without a trace. Even today, the image of that rattling doorknob remains etched in the minds of those who were there. At a high school in California, a threatening note was discovered in a bathroom, warning of violence. The principal made the call for a lockdown, and panic gripped the campus. In one classroom, a student named Liam described how he and his classmates barricaded the door with desks and chairs. Everyone sat in tense silence, the only sound being the steady, terrified breathing of his classmates. A girl next to him whispered a prayer, and a boy across the room quietly wept, fearing for his life. Meanwhile, a mother parked near the school sobbed into her phone, helplessly waiting for news. Hours passed, but no threat was found. The lockdown was lifted, but the emotional scars from that day still linger. Students reported having nightmares and newfound anxieties that left them feeling unsafe in a place they had once trusted. In an elementary school in Florida, a rumor of an armed intruder sent the campus into lockdown. A second-grade teacher, Ms. Rivera, described how her instincts kicked in as she secured the door and calmed her frightened students. One child couldn't stop shaking, while another clung to her leg, whispering, "I'm scared." Ms. Rivera told them a story, trying to mask her own fear and keep the children focused on her soothing voice. They huddled together in darkness for what felt like an eternity. SWAT teams eventually arrived, and the school was cleared, revealing that the initial report had been false. Yet, for Ms. Rivera and her students, the memory of huddling in that darkened room still brings a sense of dread whenever the lockdown drill alarm sounds. These real-life lockdown stories are a harrowing reminder of the very real fear and trauma students and teachers experience in moments of crisis. They capture the vulnerability of young people and the courage required to protect one another when danger looms. The most intense moment from the unknown intruder came when the students and Mrs. Thompson huddled in darkness, every breath held, as heavy footsteps echoed down the empty hallway. The sound grew louder until it stopped just outside their locked classroom door. The doorknob jiggled, then rattled violently, as if someone was desperately trying to force their way inside. A girl stifled a scream, and Mrs. Thompson, her own hands trembling, motioned for everyone to stay silent. The fear in the room was suffocating. Each second stretched to an eternity as they waited, praying the door would hold and that whatever was on the other side would move on. We discussed intense real-life school lockdown stories, highlighting moments filled with fear and suspense as students and staff faced the unknown. These stories emphasize the critical importance of school safety and the lasting emotional impact these traumatic experiences have on everyone involved. If you've experienced a school lockdown or know someone who has, feel free to share your story in the comments. For more chilling tales, check out the next video on our channel. You won't want to miss it.